Live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire, the Gurkha Cigar Studios in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and from beautiful Indian Trail, North Carolina. Welcome to the Spare Notes series with your hosts, Matt Tabacco, Kevin Acuff, and William Cooper.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series. My name is Matt Tabacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined with my two very good friends, Mr. Kevin Acuff and William Cooper. Gentlemen, how are we?
Hey, guys.
What's happening?
What's new with you guys? How's it going?
Living the dream, you know.
Living the dream. I love that's how Coop starts up. Living the dream. It's such a nice.
One day at a time, right?
It's been a challenging few weeks. I'll just say that, and I think there's some stuff going on.
I do. Yeah.
And then of course I was traveling before that, which was rough too. I had a slight medical procedure also in the middle of everything too. I'm fine, but yeah. So everything's been going on in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those times, man. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of shit going on. Kevin's been super busy.
It's finally getting hot out here.
Yeah, that's true. It's now June. So are you guys in 3 digits yet, or what?
Not yet. I mean, I think today it maybe made it to 100. They put a high heat advisory out this morning, but it wasn't a warning. So it was hot, but I don't think it wasn't like ridiculous. Not yet, at least. It was 96.
But it's getting. So it's getting to that point, like the PCA temperature point we used to see in July. It's getting closer there.
It's getting there. I mean, we're supposed to see. I'm looking now. We're supposed to see triple digits starting on Wednesday.
So it's close. It's close. I think I only remember one PCA where we didn't have triple digits. I think there's only one I can remember. I don't remember what year it was in terms of Vegas ones. I only remember one. I think we've had triple digits, one form or another, every time.
What was it this year's?
This year was, there was one night we were in that backyard with the with jackets on.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
heavy.
it was
Like
almost
I
cold
had
enough to
Steve
snow, I
Saka
think.
beanie on. Yeah. Yeah, I had the Steve Saka beanie on that night. Yep.
I think it's funny, we were talking about this a little bit before the show started. It's been a weird time in the industry. A lot of times I think the trade show is kind of a focal point for everybody because for the media, it's the most covered thing of the year. For manufacturers, it's the big stage to showcase what you got, For retailers, it's an opportunity to go and get new product, stock up on inventory. It's very important for everybody.
Yeah.
And normally, we're getting ready to start the trade show. And it's, being in the center of the year, it's like, you get all the beginning of the year. January, February, you're kind of doing like end of year stuff, awards and all that shit. And then it kind of quiets down a little bit. And then there's some things that come up. And then you get to late spring and you start talking about the trade show. And then all the way through June, you're getting ready for the show. And then we do the show. And then you got, a month and a half, going to the end of summer of all the coverage and all the announcements. And then by the fall, all the products are coming out. And then it's the holidays. And then it's back to the end of the year. And that's kind of been like the flow. And it's weird because the show already happened in March. So end of year stuff happened. Pre-show, show coverage, post-show coverage. Most of that shit's been already shipped.
Now we wait.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, and
There's nothing going on.
Well, it's interesting, Matt, because when I do my year planning, right? I do year planning is I kind of always say, all right, this is when we're gonna cover PCA, this is when we're gonna cover Pro Cigar, awards, right? And then I try to figure out where reviews are gonna fall, right? This year, I knew the majority of my reviews would be in the second 6-month cycle. I mean, I think like about 70% of the reviews are scheduled for that second half, which I don't like, right? Because things can happen to delay a review, right? things, you could get a cold or something like that. Life can happen, right? So I don't like that because normally I've done that in the first 6 months is the heavier review piece. So I'm kind of going into uncharted territory right now. Technically, on Coop, really everything should be flowing till October 31st when the review deadline for Cigar of the Year is right now. That's technically what I should be focused on right now. Let's see what happens with that. All I'm gonna say. But there's no big event going on that I'm gonna cover for at this point.
I mean, I think with the PCA move, I mean, didn't we kind of predict a shift, at least for the first year, where everything was going to be kind of like,
Yeah,
I guess, discombobulated until it gets back into a routine flow for a spring trade show?
yeah, and I think we definitely talked about that. I know we did. And the other thing is, a lot of companies were at the trade show saying we're shipping stuff in April and May. There's companies that have not shipped stuff in April and May right now. So, and we're in June. So, I remember when everyone said, "Hey, this stuff is shipping," I always was taking that with a grain of salt. With that stuff was shipped. Some companies did, some companies didn't. You can kind of figure it out.
Right. And I mean, plus when you take into consideration, the trade show moved, but that doesn't change growing season for the tobacco or harvest or anything like that. So, I mean, those things are pretty much etched in stone. So it's still, now you have the adjustment. Do you bring it out early? Do you announce it but don't have anything? Do you hold it till next year? I mean, it definitely creates a situation that didn't exist previously, I think, for sure.
Yeah, it didn't. And the other funny thing was on Friday there was a press release about a new Hoya de Monterey cigar from General. And funny thing is, Hoya de Monterey was at the trade show and they didn't even show off this cigar. So there's cigars getting released when there's trade show cigars from other companies that haven't even shipped yet.
Mm-hmm. It was two, Coop.
Two new,
one. Yeah,
two new
ones,
right.
The Rojo and the Escuero.
Cavalier announced one that didn't even have it there.
Cavalier had a pre-release of theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I found it. I took a lot of those dates with a grain of salt. And there's still even a few cigars that haven't shipped. I don't think from last year either. So.
Oh yeah, there's. I know retailers have told me they're waiting on orders from the 2023 show.
Right. Yeah. I heard the Gurkha Mike Tyson cigar shipped, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been able to find it. Now I've been told they're coming, right, or they're in process. But I've been checking like all my Gurkha retailers, and they didn't get them yet. So I don't know if the holiday. But I'm assuming the holiday may have just screwed all that up, is what I'll say. Because but there were a couple onlines that had it, right? And I'm not talking catalogs, but just online outlets. But usually my excuse to go into a retailer is to buy a cigar, right? So I'd like to get it from. Then it gives me a reason to go into that retailer, is what I'm saying. So I kind of would prefer to buy it through brick and mortar. I'm not saying it hasn't shipped yet, but a lot of my retailers around here haven't gotten it yet. So.
Hey, so before we get too far, sorry, Coop, I don't mean to just kind of run away with this.
No, you're good.
I wanted to make an announcement. Everyone who's watching, don't go anywhere, because I have an announcement to make shortly regarding the fundraiser and maybe even an early giveaway situation. So if you're watching the show, don't turn that dial. Don't turn that dial.
I have nothing. I have nothing to do with this teaser, by the way. But it's all for charity. So
it's all for charity. So Coop will allow it because he'll have to just deal with it.
I think you get more people to stay tuned in if you just announce it, but that's your call.
Well, the only reason why is because before I get into that, I want to cover a few things that we have to cover
sure.
to kind of get the show started, and then I'm gonna do that. So before I get to that, just so everyone's paying attention. First of all, gentlemen, let's talk about what we're smoking, and then we're going to talk about what we're using to light our cigars with tonight. I am going to pick at random, and I'm going to go with Kevin. We'll go first, and then Coop.
Oh, wow. I get to go first.
Yeah, you do.
So I am smoking cigar from good friend Mickey Peg. I am smoking the All Saints Solamente.
Ooh. Look who decided to treat himself tonight.
I wanted to treat myself. This cigar is just so fucking good.
Yeah.
I love this cigar.
Coop, what you got?
I haven't pulled one of these out in a while, but these came out a few years ago. Very limited cigar. It's the Diamond Crown Cameroon Double Bellicoso that they released at the 125th anniversary year. It's the one that comes in a coffin. It was primarily for events. So this is a Diamond Crown with a Cameroon wrapper on it. So very limited. I had one more of these left, and I said we haven't done a spare notes in a while. Let's light it up tonight.
Nice, nice, nice. I am smoking the Joya de Nicaragua Clásico Original in what I believe is a Churchill size. And it's
cigar.
nice.
Love that cigar. I really love that cigar.
For what it is, it's a great cigar. It smokes like a very, it's not, it's not part of the Obras Maestras collection, which is, their real higher end stuff. Like Numero Uno and Cinco de Cinco, and which are fucking great cigars. But it really holds its own, and it's a very well made, great draw. There's a nice complex flavor to it. Say medium plus ish for me. It's very dark and deep with the flavor, even though it doesn't have a very dark wrapper to it. A lot going on. It's more than I expected, if I'm being honest. And I don't know if it's because I'm just getting over being sick, but there's a lot in here. It's a little deceiving, and it's very good. It's a great Nicaraguan cigar. I can't recommend it enough. And as always, we're lighting our cigars with our favorite accessory. That's right, our ST Dupont lighters. Can't thank these guys enough. Without them, we're not here. We're not here. Oh, we lost Coop. What happened? There he is.
Oh no, we had a little staticky there for a second.
It's all right. Sorry about that. Now, I believe you, Kevin, I know you got yours. Coop, you should have yours. But these are the new Fluo lighters from ST Dupont. I have the orange. Kevin's got the blue, and Coop's got the green. At its core, they're maxi jet lighters, the single jet maxi jet. You've probably seen these hundreds of times. Maybe you even own one. But nice black matte finish, and then a nice neon colored trigger on the side. I'll tell you, it's very it's very eye catching for what it is. I mean, it's, if you know the maxi jet, it's a great lighter. I don't have to really waste your time talking about that. But you want to talk about aesthetic? Yeah, they really pop. They really do with the color. I don't know. I think it's a cool looking lighter.
That matte finish feels great in your hand.
It does.
Easy. And I was telling Matt, I've had a mini jet. I've never had a maxi jet before. And I'm like, this is pretty impressive. It really is. It's I've been using it for the past few days, and it works great.
Yeah. It's
this will become a permanent resident at the Gurkha Studios here in Las Vegas.
Well, the last two are becoming permanent residents of mine, and now I'm like, I think maybe a third one now coming in.
Coop called me the other day.
What the alternative plan is.
Coop called me the other day, and he was like, something? I'm building up a Dupont collection because of you. You know that? And I go, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we should disclose, we get these on loan. These are not given to us, but we do have an option to buy it. So that's what we were talking about, just so people know.
See, Les Mann had a plan all along.
That's right. Les Mann. Where is Les Mann? Let's tag that,
he
man.
did, and it's a good, yeah.
Les Mann should be in here right now watching this show.
Yeah.
So shout out to Les.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, ST Dupont, great stuff. Only the best. Shake up the legacy, ST Dupont. Let's get back to the show. So, I did...
Live from the Drew
Damn
Estate
it, I clicked the wrong...
Studios in the...
I just deleted that. I'll have to fix that later. You know what it is? So the other show, everything's like very specific. On the spare notes one, it's like spare notes, welcome spare note. Like they all say just fucking spare notes, and so like when you're doing it quick, it's confusing. But when I do the other show, it's like boom, 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 boom. Like you can read it quick. Sorry, it's no one's problem except for my own. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, so I mentioned earlier in the show. One of the big things I want to touch on, if you watched our Wednesday night show, Kevin and I were together, and we mostly talked about our 2024 Cigar Family Charitable Foundation raffle, which anyone who follows us or has been following us the last several years knows it's something big that we do every year. And so I wanted to make sure we spent some time on it tonight because it's very important for all of us. And we're getting towards the end. It's actually supposed to be over, but we have extended it. For those who didn't know, it has been extended another 2 weeks. I believe the new date it's a Wednesday. I think it's June 12th. Is that right? I think it's the 12th.
June 12th. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're currently a little bit over 18,000 total raised so far this year. So we're well on our way to familiar territory in terms of money raised. Wanted to make sure that everybody knew about it, and we'll talk a little bit about it tonight. And if anyone has any questions, please put them in the comments. Let's get all the questions out, because I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of repeat questions. So if you're watching tonight, if you want to know what it is, whatever it is, there's no stupid questions. Don't be shy, please. If you have a question about the fundraiser or the raffle or the items or whatever, put it in the comments now, please, or whenever. Just please comment. Let's answer these questions. But I came up with this idea. So for everyone watching tonight, I'm going to do something special. I'm going to give you a random 5-pack of cigars. Maybe some swag. I have to see I have some shit kicking around the house. I'll put a little random fun bag together and I'll send it to you. But you have to donate during the show. These are the rules. It's got to be at least, don't be cheap here, guys. It's got to be at least $20. You got to donate at least $20, all right? This is for a good cause. This is for a great cause. You got to donate at least $20. And then once you do so, comment along. Let me know you did it. And I'll check the register of donations as long as I can verify that you did it. I'm going to pick someone at random, and you're going to get a little 5-pack of cigars and some swag and some shit, and I'll send it to you. And I'll message you after the show. So, for the duration of this show, from now until the time we end, you got some time because we're going to be on here for a while. Head over to the raffle page. I put the link in the comments for all the live streams on all the platforms. I thought I pinned it on Facebook like 4 times, but it won't pin to the bottom. If you need me to post it again, please just let me know. If you're looking for it, just comment along. I'll put it in there again if I have to. Go over to the raffle page, donate at least $20 or more. Comment back, say that you donated, and at the end of the show, I'll go through and I'll pick someone at random, and I'll send you some stuff. So that's the deal for tonight. I'm throwing it out there.
Matt, I'll match that. I
You want to
don't
match
have
it too?
the swag. I don't have the swag to send, so I will send 10.
10 cigars?
Personal collection.
So are we gonna? All right.
10
So
cigars.
let's talk about this. So 2 winners. You do one. I do one. Or you want to do one big thing?
Do you want to do pick 2 that donate?
All right. Let's pick 2. All right. Let's pick 2. So 2 people.
This charity is huge, guys. I mean,
Your
the
offer
good
just
that
doubled.
It does is freaking amazing. And I mean, for $20, I mean, you guys would be amazed how far $20 would go to help these kids in the DR.
And if you're watching along, tag your friends into this broadcast and let them know so that they can enter to win some shit from me and Kevin too.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
I'm going in. I gotta be in on this. So I am gonna.
Wow.
5-pack will be donated.
Okay. So you got 3 chances.
Yes. Yep.
Tag
3
your
chances,
friends.
guys.
Tag your
This
friends
is
in the comments. Tag your friends.
Only for the live show. This is only for the live show, right?
Only for the live show.
Yep, only during the duration of the show.
Yep.
So tag your friends. Let your people know. Only for the live show. If you go over to the raffle page on the Rally Up and you make a $20 or more donation, 3 people will be selected at random, and each of us will send you something to each of those 3 winners.
So,
all right. Well,
And with the 3 of us in this room, the cigars are going to be outstanding. I just know it.
yeah. Kevin and Matt can attest to cigars I've sent them. I send them stuff that I would smoke myself, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't give you something I wouldn't smoke. Or something that's really highly rated. So.
And it's even better when you get something that you would smoke that you can't find anymore.
Yeah. So we want to do this. Look, Matt and Nicole put an enormous amount of effort into this. I've seen it firsthand. I've talked to him. I mean, Nicole did this pregnant last year. Now with a a newborn this year. Matt, of course, same for you. It's a lot of. I remember one year you guys going on vacation the next day, and you were up late making sure the prizes got out.
That was the
There's
first
a
year. I'll
lot
never
of
do that
work.
again.
Like I was on the show and Carney and I had they had to go to sleep. Like they had to finish and go to sleep so they could get that plane. And Carney and I finished the show up with that. So guys, yeah, seriously, it's these guys. It's all this money goes right into the CFCF here. And what? By the way, and on top of that, Matt, if they donate, they're still eligible for the prizes, right?
Yes, and that's the other thing too.
So,
If you're making a donation, you're also entering yourself into all the crazy stuff that's in there. So
right. So this is just a kind of incentive to get you to do it tonight. Yes.
Yeah, this is just to get you in there. You know what I mean? But maybe you win some extra shit too.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too. So and the reason why it was extended was because I've been in touch with Arturo Fuente and some of the folks over there, including Carlito Fuente and several other administrative people who make their magic happen. And they've decided to add some more very limited things. They told me they're putting it in. I know it's coming. I asked for names and photos so I could put it out there quick. I have not gotten them yet, but I was told they're being sent this week, so I'm trying to get that information so you know what's going to be on there. But I can promise you, there is some stuff coming. One of the items I will tell you, I was told one thing. I don't know what else is coming, but I know one of the items. There's probably a couple of them, I think. Anyone know you guys probably know this, but for people watching, does anyone remember last year when Carlito turned 69? And he had the very long Culebras made in the the black and red coffin for his birthday. Those were for friends of his. So I was told that supposedly some of those are going to be put in here. So some of those are going to be up for grabs. So that alone, I can tell you right now, is from what I've been told is going to be in there. I don't know what else. I know that there's going to be some cool shit. I don't know specifically. I've been trying to find that out, but yeah, so that's going to be in there. So there's a lot more stuff. There's a lot more stuff coming. So you don't want to miss out on this. You have to donate today or you can't win any of it. So please, please, please. And anyone will tell you who's been a part of this before. We do the reveal show. Everyone's watching. They're waiting for the name to be called. There's been, you think back to the last 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Is this be the fifth time we run it? No, fourth time. In the last 3 years alone, I mean, we had a lot of prizes. So there's a lot of winners. There's a lot of people who've won a lot of prizes over the years doing this. So, and there's a couple people that won multiple times too. Believe me, there's some people out there that clean up. So you don't want to miss out. You really don't want to miss out. So, like I said, tag your friends.
Well, guys,
tag your friends. Get in on this now.
It's also not about women.
That's true.
It's about helping the kids.
That's true.
Helping the kids, man.
That's true. But, it's what it is. But yes, it is. And we talked about that, on Wednesday. It is for such an amazing cause. So, all that money goes directly to this foundation. All the administrative costs are paid for by the Fuente and Newman families personally. It doesn't come out of the money. They pay for it. So any of the money you donate, it's not one of those. This is a UN recognized charity. It's not one of these charities where some of the money goes there after. No. Everything else gets paid for separately. This money goes right to the kids. Right to the kids. I've been there. Coop's been there. We've seen it. We've met those kids. We can both tell you. Coop, and I'll even let you share your experience.
Yeah, it is. When we go there, I went there in Pro Cigar. It's actually one of the excursions. There's nothing cigar when you go out there. This is all about these kids and seeing them. And you see this impoverished area that's been where the CFCF has really just provided training, clean water, things like that. This was a crime-ridden area that was really turned around. And you see these kids really advanced, right? I met one person who's a Microsoft certified engineer, which is something I went through years ago. Very hard to do, and it was just beautiful to see that. There's arts, there's technical training, medical facilities. I remember Charlie Minato. I was talking to him before I went, and Charlie Minato said, if you're not moved coming out of this tour, there's something basically wrong with you. And Charlie can be Charlie can be a little aloof sometimes. Not a very emotional guy either. He's telling me this, right? And he's 100% right. I see some donations coming in already, guys.
Yeah. Like I said, guys, don't miss out on this.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
I'll tell you, everyone here appreciates it. And I know that everyone from Arturo Fuente, J.C. Newman, everyone down in the Dominican Republic, on the campus, the kids, their families, the staff who works there, like everybody, anyone who has anything, even this much to do with it, they appreciate it. There's a lot of cigar family, supporters. They like to talk. So there's a lot of what they call like the old cigar family people, right? You'll hear that kind of term, kind of be thrown around, when you talk to the Fuentes and the Newmans and some of the people who used to be involved. And there's a group of people who used to, or in some cases still are, heavily involved in it for just, as they're like Dellis and Tony Kettengill and JJ, who we talked about, and just some of these other people who still go down and give their time, money, just whatever they need, whatever it takes, at the school. I know like Tony and Dellis, I think they go down there multiple times a year, if I'm not mistaken. They're people that have been there since day one. Andy Garcia, you guys know the Lost City, the Opus X Lost City, that was named after the movie that Andy shot at Chateau de la Fuente. And then that off-season crop that was planted for the movie, Andy was like, why don't, with Carlito, was like, well, why don't we make a cigar and then the money can go to the charity, So I mean, this is a big thing too. I mean, there's a lot of other people out there that that care about this charity too. That you probably know and love and don't even realize, and it really is. It's that special. It's anyone who's been there and seen it, it captures your heart. And like I said, we're just really honored to be able to be a part of it. So being able to raise as much as we can is exciting, because I know that every dollar just changes these kids' lives dramatically.
Yep.
You guys have no idea how far it goes. Things are expensive here and whatever, but down where they live, I mean, like the equivalent of like what we raise is like millions of dollars to them. I mean, it's insane. It does a lot. So there's no amount too small. But if you're just tuning in, let me reiterate: if you head over to the raffle page and during the live broadcast, if you donate $20 or more, each one of us is going to send 3 different winners. Well, 3 different people will be picked. And we're going to send you some cigars and some stuff, whatever we got. And those people will be selected at the end of the show. So tag your friends, let everybody know, donate at the page, maybe win some stuff, but it all goes to a great cause. So that's my whole spiel. And I'll remind people as we go. But yeah, man, just it means a lot. It means a lot to me and everyone at the Smokin Tabacco team, like I said, and so we appreciate it. So yeah, I'll let you guys do some talking now. Wow, no one has anything to say. Well, all right.
Well, no, I don't know. Did you want me to talk more about? I don't know what you wanted me to talk about.
I don't know what else we're talking about tonight.
Listen, yeah, I'll make one last thing again.
Wide open.
Yeah, this is, like I said, definitely a lot of hard work put into this, a lot of great prizes. And I think also Matt said, if you got questions here, ask the questions tonight here. Is what I would recommend. And I'm sure Matt's the guy behind, Matt Nicole will post behind it. I'm sure that, they'll give you the answers you want. So
I'm going to post the link again.
Thank you to everyone who donated. Yeah.
Yeah, anybody who has any questions about the raffle, the fundraiser, whatever it is, about the foundation, about it doesn't even have to be about the actual fundraiser, the raffle. It could be about
Yeah.
the charity itself. It could be about the
Yeah.
kids. If you have any questions about this, how it works, whatever, comment along. We know probably 90% of the answers, in terms of all that other stuff. But yeah, ask your questions, because people ask me stuff all the time, and ask your questions now. We'll try to answer it. So I posted the link again. Jason, I know you've been asking. I just posted it again, so that should be right there at the bottom for you. And yeah, that's it. So while you guys all of that, I'm gonna bring up our next thing. So it is still spare
Seeing a lot
notes.
of action.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, see, I tell you, people don't want to miss out. They got to get in on this. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
So while we're doing the show, this is gonna be going on. I'm gonna keep touching back on it, reminding people, letting people know what's going on. Just keep commenting along. If you have questions or whatever, we'll stop. We'll answer them. But we have a couple of things we wanted to discuss tonight anyway, so we're gonna kind of do that. We'll be in and out with this thing, right? So just don't fret. Like, don't just hang in there with us. But Coop, you and I talked about this briefly the other day, and I just remembered I wanted to bring it up. And Kevin, I actually forgot to remind you about this. I don't know. I think you probably saw this anyway. But Coop, we talked about the Southern Draw thing that happened recently,
Right.
which I thought was kind of interesting. So they made a post. Or was it Robert who made the post? I can't remember. Talking about how
Robert made it.
they might
Robert
sell,
made
they
an
might
initial-
not.
Yeah, he made a post on his Facebook page, and that's important when we get into this a little later. And you're right. The post was he was considering options of selling a stake, maybe a majority stake in the company. So he was putting that basically out there. So here's the thing. A few people picked up on that story. I opted not to pick up on that story for a bunch of reasons. But I'll say most of my main reason was because I had seen that Robert a few years ago was looking for
Hold on, Coop.
equity. He was looking for.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question here that I just want to make sure I answer. Is donation not by entries correct? No. So look, the thing we're doing tonight on the show is just like a thing just while you're doing the show. But when you make that donation, you're getting entries. So by doing this, no matter how much you donate, in terms of the actual raffle, you're getting entries. You're getting entries to all the prizes that are listed and all the ones that are going to be added, hopefully, in the next few days. The thing we're doing tonight is just for tonight during the show. So, yeah, you're getting entries for everything right now, just to make that clear.
No impact on the regular charity raffle. This is just a special tonight. The three of us donate during the show. You could get a little something extra.
Yes. Sorry, Coop. I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to make sure
No,
I answered that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Totally okay. Yeah.
But anyways, you were
Totally
saying.
okay, yep. Yeah, so basically there was a post on Facebook to announce that Robert and his wife were considering selling their stake in Southern Draw Cigars. There were a bunch of reasons. They've had some personal issues at home, and at the same time, it is this. I think there were some partners that were getting out. They had said, and so they were looking possibly of selling the company or selling a majority stake of it. I think they're very open to still being a part of the company, but I think they recognize this may be the best move for them. I opted not to cover this story for a variety of reasons. And one of the reasons I had was because a few years ago, they were looking for investors in the company. And at that time, it was more investors to grow the company. So I kind of assumed it was the same thing, but then there was a follow-up video that clarified that wasn't the case. Like a few years ago, it was for investors. This time, it's more of, hey, we're selling our stake or a stake in the company to someone else. I didn't pick up on the story because I thought it was the same thing. And frankly, I don't know. We could get into it. I just didn't think there was a lot of. I think everyone kind of looks at that one. I didn't see a big deal with it, right? Except he put it out in public. So I'm sure everyone there's not a lot of people look to do that. So I opted not to cover it, but it got a lot of press when it happened. People did pick up on it.
I mean, that was my thing, and it seemed to be like a good majority of the comments, on the people that did share that. is that what exactly is it if they do decide to sell? What exactly is it that they'd be selling? Because I mean, they don't have a factory, right? So I
Right.
mean, they're just selling. Are they selling basically naming rights and remaining inventory?
I mean, and that's pretty much how most of the acquisitions we've seen over the past 10 years have been. I think the
Okay.
exception, there's been some exceptions. Oliva, Alec Bradley, and Drew Estate and Royal Agio. They're the four that come to mind where that was buying a company lock, stock, and barrel. Like Matt Booth, they didn't buy his staff. You know, he didn't have a factory. Tarano, same thing. The staff didn't go. It was basically they sold the brand. So we see a lot of these brand acquisitions happen. I don't know what this would. I don't know enough about what kind of transaction this would be. This, if it happens, to say what it is. But my guess is, Kevin, you're right. It would probably be more of a brand acquisition here. Now, Rob was a little annoyed. There was a video that went out, and he was annoyed at a few things, right? I think number one is he was annoyed that there were a few people with the story out that didn't contact him. And you know what? I will say this. Robert is 100% right. I did put the story out there. I did talk about it on KMA. I'm talking about it here. But I don't feel like I put a story out there, and I've always kind of caveated saying, go see the post, right? So he was annoyed about that. The other thing is that he felt that this is the part I disagree with him on. He said, well, this was not a formal press announcement. I put this on my personal page. Well, guess what? This is 2024. You put something like that on your personal page.
It's an official announcement.
It's fair game. You ever see Taylor Swift's personal page? She does all of her announcements on Instagram, right? Look at half the cigar companies put their announcements on Instagram now, before even a press release.
So
Robert,
true.
I hear you. If it was something private, it should have been completely private to a very restricted group. Otherwise, yes, it is fair game for the media to pick that up. You can't get upset about that. You have a right to be upset that they didn't contact you for clarification. I'll be very honest on that. And like I said, and if I had picked that story up, I would have called for clarification, right? Look, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't do that, right? If I got accused of doing that from Dan Davison on Cigar Authority, right? When he went after us about the Fuente story, right? No, we were in touch with Carlito, right? We don't do that. And if we do, and if I do even, I'll reference it if I did do it, right? I'm not saying I never do it. And if I did do it, it's clearly referenced in there. So, no, that's it's fair game. It's fair game is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes people forget that part of our job is, look, if you say something and it's out there, it's getting written. And I feel like we have to have this, like, discussion every several months. We have to remind everybody, like, this is what our job is. If you go on social media and you open your mouth about something, whether it's positive or negative,
it's getting talked about.
It's getting written. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, or it's getting talked about on the air. It's out there. If you didn't want people to talk about it, then why'd you open your mouth? I mean, you can be pissy about that if you want to. Send me a DM. We'll talk about it. But that's just how the world is, guy. I mean, I don't make the rules. I just play the game. And then in terms of, like, the other thing, it's like some people don't realize that we might see something on social media, but then that prompts us to contact. So, like, me, Coop, Charlie Minato, fucking, why am I blanking on the name from fucking CA? Savona.
Right.
We're all, just so everybody knows, we're all in contact with just about every manufacturer, or like the owner, or like whoever, like, the step down is, like if something comes up, it's like, oh, we just fucking pick up the phone and be like, something's online, before we run it. Do you have something to say? Now, sometimes not everybody does that every time, I know, but most of the time, most of us, at least the people in this room, that's usually what we do. So yeah, when we post a story about something being shipped between two manufacturers, yeah, it's because we spoke to Ciro or Carlito, and they told us, yeah, it's going out. So, okay. So we knew. We didn't write a story off of a rumor on Facebook.
No, and I read the Half Wheel story, and it was totally fair. It was look. They referenced that it was on social media. I didn't think there was anything misrepresented in the story, and it was totally fair game to put that story out there. It was not anything about out of bounds to do what they did. It happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if it's I understand it's your personal page, but you're friends with a lot of people on your personal page. I still want to be a friend, but maybe you should really restrict that if that's the case. But who's to stop the people who see it from talking about that, right? So it's you got to be careful because and I tell people sometimes, I do think that someone's personal. I've said this to a few people. If George Padron has a personal page, right, that shouldn't be construed with the company page, right? But guess what? In the end, I think it does, right? So I could be, you should, so you should know your boundaries, but it's, you just have to. You have to be, like I said, if that was something that was not meant to be put out there, then don't put it out there. I don't know how else it's clear,
And not every time, but John brings up a good point. Sorry, Coop, but just to add this into our discussion, this is exactly what they wanted. Bad press is good press, better than no press. And Coop, and you know this. Sometimes people play this game, and then they bitch that whatever. Oh, the media went, and it's like, but at the same time, deep down, well, they got what they wanted. They wanted people talking about it. So it's like they played this game.
Right.
It's like,
right.
Let's just cut out the bullshit.
Well,
just tell us. Be like, hey, I have something to say, and we'll write a story.
Yeah. Now,
Like,
if that video, if that post had said, hey, we really don't want this getting out. I mean, I don't know why you put it out there, but if it was for, if they told me, if they said, please, let us just we'll issue an official statement down the road, I think most people would honor that. That's what I'm saying, right? But the fact that, I don't know what I actually had a problem with why you would even put that out there to begin with. Okay, that was just my opinion.
I mean,
why would you tip your hat on what you're trying to do?
I see a little bit of a reason behind it. I mean, I don't know if it's a good reason or if it's a valid reason or even if there's any benefit to it, but I mean, it's a great way to test the waters as to how it would be received in the industry.
Totally great. I agree 1,000%, Kevin.
Yeah, which, and I mean, looking at it from the media side and whatnot, I mean, I see it. I mean, there could definitely be an opportunity there. I mean, there could be opportunities on two sides of it if it does come to fruition and he does end up, they end up selling off the name or selling off the brand or whatever. I mean, there's an opportunity for an existing company to absorb Southern Draw and expand their existing portfolio with what I'm going to say is a relatively popular and established brand. Because I mean, the industry knows Southern Draw.
Yeah, they've been on the Coop list 4 years in a row. They made it. Yeah.
And the other side of it is, what a hell of an opportunity for somebody that's looking to get into an industry to purchase something that's an established brand and learn the ins and outs of managing, maintaining, and marketing a brand without the responsibility of having a factory. You maintain the relationships with the factories that they have. I'm sure the Holts would remain on as advisors or whatnot for somebody that's looking to launch a new endeavor. I mean, an opportunity to continue to build a brand that's established, and who knows where that could go if it's somebody looking to get in the industry for the first time.
Yeah, no, Kevin, I spot on agree with you on that. It's a good point. Also say Robert and Sharon are great people too. They're good people. They've really worked hard in this industry as well. Everyone makes mistakes, and I'm not saying everyone's perfect, but they've been good people. Like, they've made some excellent cigars. So it's a good brand. It's a good brand, and I see exactly what you're saying, Kevin. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely an opportunity out there because I mean, I've talked to people that, well, what does it take to get in the industry? How do I get in the industry and whatnot? I mean, here's your opportunity to get your feet wet.
Yeah. So I wish them luck. Like I said, I didn't feel. I don't know. I didn't really. If this thing starts to get, when this store, if they sell, that's going to be the big story for me. But I think companies entertain offers on frequent basis or feel the waters out
Hmm.
like this. They just went public on it. I think is the difference. But I think this. I mean, I've been told off the record from some smaller companies they've tested the waters, right? So so I think this goes on is what I'm saying. Except maybe the difference is they're a little more serious about it and they went public with it.
I mean, on the other side of it too. I mean, I'm concerned with if it is health issues for Robert or Sharon or whichever one of them. I mean, definitely wish them the best there because I don't want to see
We wish
anybody face that.
no,
Ever.
no, nobody,
So
no, absolutely not. And I know the pandemics hit that company hard too. I'm not saying they have COVID still or anything like, but I'm just saying I know when the pandemic hit, it hit them hard. And they're a small company.
mhm.
They don't have 50 people working for them, and it's a small company. When it hits hard, yeah. I mean, Matt,
Yeah, I would
you
definitely
and
like to
Nicole
see
went
that
to your
brand survive. So
yeah. I mean, I remember Matt and Nicole have had, they've had COVID, right? When I remember one of them had, right? That affects them as a small brand, a small media brand. It
At the
absolutely
trade
affects
show,
them.
yeah, that was
At the
bad.
trade show, right? Right. So, you know, it happens. And you hate to see it go through. And Robert and Sharon have been very good to me. Like I said, I don't know. It's like I don't know. You know, I don't know where he was going with the follow up video and stuff on that. But like I said, I can understand him being upset that people didn't talk to him on it. I mean, if you're gonna put some. I mean, but here's the other thing. I know Half was pretty diligent on their reporting, so I don't know. Maybe they tried and didn't get it. I don't know. So I want to be fair to them as well because I think they do good work and they usually cover their bases pretty. They're as thorough as anyone out there. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt as well.
Sorry, I was just answering some questions from someone they were having some trouble donating. I apologize. I was trying to help them fix their situation. Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of echo some of the stuff that's been said. First of all, I hope that they're okay. I hope that it's not because of something major health-wise. They just got to
Absolutely.
drop out. That
Mhm.
obviously sucks. Nobody wants to see that. You
No.
know, they make some good cigars. You know, the Rose of Sharon and the Desert Rose are like some of my favorite cigars that they make.
Oh my
James
God, those are
Ladder, yeah.
so good.
They do such a great
Dude,
job with those.
the Firethorns, yeah, they're good.
Cedrus.
They made the Coop list, my list 4 years in a row from 2017 to 2020. There's not a lot of companies that have done 4 years in a row. They've really gotten some good cigars. They were the Coop small medium company of the year 2 times, right?
Mhm.
So this company has done quality work, is what I'm saying. And like I said, you don't do that. You don't do that accidentally, you know. So, and they've made a lot of other lists and awards, not just mine. So it's not just 'cause I gave it to them. A lot of people recognize them, and for a while, people were saying this was some of the best stuff coming out of AJ. Even. So,
Yeah.
all that's I think so. I think there's some value. I think we're all anxious to see a new Southern Drawer cigar, but I had the Southern Drawer cigar they did for the Great Smoke last year, and it was the absolute sleeper. Alex was telling me about it. He
Mhm.
says, you got to get your hands on this cigar. I got my hands on it. It was definitely the sleeper of TGS last year. He was right. So the quality's still there.
Yeah, that was a great freaking cigar.
Yeah, yeah, I forget the name of it, but it was really Evening Shade or something like that. It was something like that.
Yeah, it was excellent. I can't remember the name of it either. And it's like I know, I have a sealed bundle of those left that I've actually just been
Yeah.
kind of saving. I
Yeah.
smoked through the first bundle
Yeah.
quick.
I remember
So it was definitely a sleeper.
years ago when I was doing the Ashholes podcast. And again, this kind of thing, there's several factors that could be involved, so it's not like it was just like, the one. But I remember, what I used to do back in the day when I did that show is I used to go to work, and then after work, I'd fly up to New Hampshire to do the show, like right after work. So I worked all day and flew up there. I don't even think I ate lunch that day. I was busy. And I got there, I do the show. Like, oh, what are we doing for a cigar on the show today? And like, oh, we're doing Jacob's Ladder Southern Draw. I'm like, oh, all right. I smoked that cigar on the show. It was a good cigar. Don't get me wrong. It was a good cigar. But we finished the show, and I was like, I don't feel good. Like, I had the spins. Like, I had a headache. And I was just like, normally what I would do is I do the show, and then I'd hang in the shop until the end of the night when we close up. I was like, guys, I got to go home. Like, I left. That cigar got me that day. I don't know. It could have been other things
what
too.
cigar was it?
It was the Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Jacob's Ladder story as well.
Whew. Man, that one
Yeah.
that one got me. And I was like, I'm done. Right in the tray. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going home. I don't feel good at all.
Now, no, it's a beast, that cigar. In fact, they did the Brimstone, which they said was stronger, and I believe it was stronger when it came out. But actually, the way the Brimstone happened, it mellowed a lot more than that cigar. The original Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah,
I remember telling
agree.
Robert this. And Robert, like, I had a conversation with Robert. He thought I was nuts, and then he came back to me, and he said, "No, Coop, that thing definitely. You're 100% right. What happened now? That was for the positive. The way it mellowed, the flavors. It ended up being a top 10 cigar for me that year. So that was for the better, actually. But yeah, the original Jacob's Ladder has made the Coop's list as well. But it's a beast, Matt. That's not a cigar for the faint at heart.
Yeah.
I was walking through the trade show with a couple individuals that will remain nameless, but smoking a Jacob's Ladder. Literally, he was smoking a Jacob's Ladder first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and ended up literally laying on the floor in the trade show, like with the nicotine spins and the cold sweats and everything from nicotine spins.
I don't know why, but for some
nuts.
reason the name Jack Heyer comes to mind.
It was not Jack.
Damn. That sounds like a Jack move.
It was not Jack. There was people that were involved in Drew Estate that are no longer involved with Drew Estate that were there, but it was not Jack Heyer. It was before Jack Heyer's tenure with Drew Estate. And then another story with the Jacob's Ladder is we were sitting out back here at the house, and me and one of my friends from the Dojo Jays, we call Fuzzy, we're smoking them, and it's like, man, this is, Chris is like, this is strong. He doesn't really have a high tolerance of nicotine. Man, I don't know if I can smoke this, whatnot. And we gave one to Barb. So Barb's smoking it and everything. She goes, "Oh, you guys think this is strong?"
Well, Barbara just asked, have I smoked the Jacob's Ladder?
So, yeah. So she smoked through the whole thing, and I mean, she thought it was an excellent cigar, but I mean, she didn't think it was strong. So I mean, it's
convinced
funny
women can handle stronger cigars than men.
Cigars like that work. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Now, if you mix it with wine, that's a different story. But
right, when I was in London, I was at J.J. Fox, and the observation I made, I'll never forget it, is the men were smoking Cubans, but the women were smoking Liga Privadas. I mean, and this was several different, like not just all around this, in the same group. And I actually commented to someone in there, and they said that to me. They said the women like the stronger cigars, and so I think there's something to that, is what I'm saying.
There's definitely a science behind women and men with cigars. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's been times where like I'll smoke a cigar and I'm like,
I'm generalizing here. Yeah, but I'm generalizing. I know I'm generalizing, but it's
granted, like there's a lot of stuff that I like that it's too strong for Nicole. But there's been some times where I've smoked something and I'm like, I don't know, it's a little beefy for me. And Nicole's like, oh, I like it, and I'm like, oh, and like it's like perfect for her, but I'm like, eh.
I will say Barb's palate is as in tune or better than mine.
What were you gonna say, Coop?
Nicole can handle some strong cigars. I mean, I know you and I have talked about some of these too, and I've talked to her about how she can handle strong cigars.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She's not with anybody.
She's not a. Yeah. I smoke, mild. No. So Nicole smokes cigars that there's a lot of men I know who can't smoke. I'll give her a lot of credit on that one.
And I will say, and any B&M people that are paying attention here, don't assume when a woman comes into your establishment that they're going to want, foo-foo cigars or flavored cigars or whatever. I mean, Barb is a perfect example. Show her what's the latest and greatest you got, because that's what she wants to smoke.
Well, it's funny. I've told the story before. And I think you guys know this story, but it was one time I was down at Mohegan Sun, and you can't smoke in the casino anymore. But there's a cigar lounge in the casino. I think it's in the Sky Casino, because there's two. There's the Earth and the Sky. I think it's in the Sky Casino, and it's called the Clay Pipe. Anyone who's been down there knows. And we went in there one night to have a cigar, and I remember a woman. Those, and I know my way around. I know what I'm looking for, but they come over. They try to say, I know what I want. The guy gives me what I asked for, and there's a woman who like kind of comes up to us as like we're finishing and asks the guy like, oh, hi, I'm looking for a cigar. And before she can even open her mouth and say what, he's like, yeah, the flavored cigars are over there, and turns away. And I watch him walk away, and I look at her, just kind of go like, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
And I looked at her and I said, are you looking for a cigar? And she was like, yeah, but you could tell she was just dumbfounded. And I was like, what are you looking for? And she kind of looked at me confused, and I was like, I'm involved with the business. I go, I can help you. And she was like, yeah. And then we had like a brief exchange, and I said, oh yeah, you probably want this or this. They're over there. You can check those out. Yeah, no problem. And then she went on her way, and she asked someone else for help. And I just remember being like, this guy, who's supposed to be customer service, professional, whatever, sees this woman come in and just goes, yeah, the flavored cigars are over there. And it's like that's so rude. And she was offended. It was written all over her face. She was like dumbfounded. And I'm like, and I had
that shit is not uncommon.
And I had to take the time, and I don't even work there, to help her figure out what she was looking for and point her in the right direction and give her several, recommendations. That's not my fucking job. But yeah, it's in Kevin's right. It happens more often than people think.
When Barb just, like, I'm reading the comments here, Barb says, I would have confronted him. No shit.
Barb would have made a scene. First of all, people who don't know Barbara would have made a scene, and as she should. But yeah, Barbara would have made it. Like, that guy would have been like, oh fuck. Yeah, you don't do that to Barbara. She wouldn't have taken that shit.
Yeah, it's like, here, let's go into the humidor so I can educate you on what you sell.
Barbara probably knows more about everything in that store, plus more than the people who work there. At least in this particular place.
She'll never admit to that, but she does.
I almost feel guilty having this conversation because, like, at this point, like, there's so many women smokers. I mean, the women smokers are on the same level as men smokers, as far as I'm concerned. Right? Maybe there's more men 100%. Smokers, right? But I think percentage-wise, I think you have the same percentage of connoisseurs versus newbies. Versus, so I almost feel guilty having this conversation at this point. And
I don't feel guilty about it because you still see the bullshit. You still see it.
It's almost like discrimination. You know what I mean? You just go, oh, female, okay, boom, pigeonhole.
We are so. Charlotte's got a strong female cigar smoking population. I mean, they're really into it here. And I remember about 10 years ago, I went to Chattanooga, and Chattanooga was one of the first cities that had a very strong, like, it was organized. They'd get together for groups, and there's clubs and stuff like that. And I know a few people in Charlotte was hoping that one day that would happen here, and now we are seeing it happen here. So, and we're not the only city, obviously, that's happened in, but it has been really great to see that. I think it really makes our industry better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. But anyway, like, I forget what we were talking about before. Women with stronger cigars.
I got a sidetracked on that one.
Fucking Kevin. God damn it.
It's okay. I haven't been on a while, so I got to shine when I can shine, right?
Just as a heads up, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only have 5. We have 5 donations made since that announcement.
Come on,
5.
Okay.
Only 5 people.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
No, I mean
75% of the people are gonna get something at that rate. Come on, what's going on?
Thank you to everyone who did it. And
Yeah,
we
thank
should
you to the
thank
people
you
who
for
did.
everybody. And also, I know, and also, I kid around with that. Some people can always give what they can give, and anything's appreciated, by the way. So
I agree. I agree.
So yeah,
We
yeah,
just
I
like to
agree.
bust balls
I
here.
shouldn't have said that. I apologize for saying that. Yeah.
No,
But yeah.
we like to bust balls here. It's
I sound like Jerry. The Jerry Lewis came out in me.
The Jerry Lewis. Come on.
Oh, he used to go on. Do you remember the MDA telephone? Give me the money. He'd go all the time on the Labor Day telephone.
Give me the money.
Yes, I got a little Jerry Lewis, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I like I like giving people a hard time, but no, give what you can. We also appreciate the people who do what you do.
We do, yes.
But it's still going, so don't miss out. I'll post the link again in the comments. I'll keep it there.
Yeah.
It won't pin for some reason on the Facebook. I think it's pinned everywhere else, but yeah, I mean, like I said, head over there, donate $20 or more, and each one of us will send 3 different people a cigars and maybe some swag.
Yep.
Kevin will send a 10-pack.
Yeah.
Don't miss out on that. Don't miss out on that. Raising money for a good cause, guys. Raising money for a good cause. So let's get in on it. Let's make everybody proud, and let's kick some ass with this. Coop, did we talk about? I'm trying to remember on our last show. Did we talk about any of the staffing stuff that's happened?
The what's up?
Like some of the staff changes.
We talked about Dylan and stuff.
We did.
We talked
okay.
about Dylan and stuff. Yeah. That was right before I left. That was the night before I left for Dubai. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You went on your Dubai trip. How was that?
Yep.
What was Dubai like? I've never been over there. I've heard so much. My interpretation of Dubai is very rich and luxurious, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so I'll give a Reader's Digest version of this. There is an article on Coop, along with the Light 'em Up Lounge panel show, which Reinhardt did on the Middle East, that I participated in when I got home. But so a couple of things just to lay the ground on this. This was not a pleasure trip. This was not a cigar trip. This was for other business in my life that I have going on, that I had to go to Dubai. So actually the way I flew to Dubai was through New York to Qatar to Dubai. And why I did that, you may say, is airline points, right? You want those partner miles, right? So I ended up doing it that way. But I mentioned Qatar because I did stay in Qatar one day. They're both very new cities, okay? So I say new is these cities have really evolved over they're new countries. The countries have only been around for a little over 50 years. There's United Arab Emirates, which is Dubai, and there's Qatar, which is its own country. Qatar was supposed to be part of the United Emirates. It didn't work out. They ended up going independent. But they're newer cities. And but like I said, it wasn't something I went around and had cigars or anything. But I did my share of smoking there. It's a very luxurious city. Yes, they speak Arabic there, but it's also probably the most English-friendly place I've been to outside of England and Sweden. Right, so it's very. If you're there, you're not going to have a language problem. But the signs are in English and Arabic there. The people are very warm and welcoming there. They seem to really. They're proud of their city. It's experiencing a culture like that's like nothing other I ever saw before. For example, there's like prayer rooms that they have throughout the facilities, where people go pray throughout the day. It's still a very much an Islamic place. Cigar wise, what I'll just talk about quickly is it's a lot in Dubai. Dubai is very smoker friendly. You can smoke in some restaurants. You can smoke in some areas of hotels. I had a smoking room, which I chose to have. In fact, when I got to the hotel, it was like 108 degrees, and it was hot.
Jesus.
And I did want a cigar, right?
Those Vegas numbers.
When I'm checking, I said, hey, is there a place like I can smoke but like is shaded, right? And they actually said yes, and you could go, but they said, hey, would you like a smoking room? And I said, you know what? That air conditioner is going to feel real good right now. I'm like, give me the smoking room, right? And so I had a smoking room. That was like my choice on that. Cigars are expensive there, okay? I was told the cigars are expensive there for a few reasons. It's obviously Dubai is an expensive city. There is a custom tax, there's an excise tax, and there's a municipal tax. And the other thing is, yes, the non-Cuban companies are definitely making strides over the Cuban companies there. So I saw my father's cigars there. I saw the Mirafel cigars are there. In fact, Reinhardt was in the Middle East right around the same time I was. We just couldn't connect. I mentioned, El Septimo was even there. I even saw El Septimo cigars there. So, but Padron was there. And to give you an idea how expensive, a box of Padron Exclusivitos was going for $742 in duty free.
Wow.
That's $742.
Wow.
So there was no bargain even getting it in duty, and it was more. There were more money going to the other stores there. But they certainly. And the other thing I'll say, and I say this when I go to other countries, we are spoiled by our humidors here. They're much smaller humidors you see out. The U.S. has some of the larger humidors. You don't have a concept like a two. I haven't at least found one like a two guys or a Corona or a Smokin. You just or Cigars International or Casa de Monte Cristo. You just don't have something like that. So it's funny, like your regular mom and pop shop may be bigger than some of these other humidors. Is what I'm saying. So, yeah, food was unbelievable too. The food was unbelievable. I'll just say that. Of all things, the Italian food really surprised me. There, how good it was.
Really?
And the other thing I'll say, it's a melting pot. So it's very much like New York. There's a lot of different, in Dubai, a lot of different ethnic cultures that are there. So that's why you have your Italian foods, and you have your Thai foods, and your Indian foods, and Arabic foods. I had this Egyptian dish. I was talking to, and Abe knew exactly what I was talking about. I said, this Egyptian dish, they made table side. It was called koshari, and it had beans, beans, rice, but it had these fried onions on top, which were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And a sauce that you just kill for. It's not like your staple rice and beans lentils were in there. Yeah, it's not like your rice and beans you're gonna get in Nicaragua or Central America. I'm saying so. If you get a chance to go to that part of the world, I think it's just interesting to see another culture there. We didn't talk politics. We didn't talk religion or anything. It was just so welcoming to be there. But it is expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you. Everything is expensive there. So. So I was there for a week.
Yeah, I always hear people talking about. Yeah, it seems to be like a popular destination, at least from the circles I travel in. So I've always been curious about. Dubai.
Yeah, there was a couple of people going to Abu Dhabi for the weekend. Now I was debating staying another weekend, but there were two things going on. It was my wedding anniversary, which was one. But the other one was my son was having a procedure that week too, so I knew I just didn't want to be 8,000 miles away, when that happens. So I didn't want to get home for that. So, and then the weekend before was like I had to leave on Mother's Day, unfortunately, but my wife was very understanding on that. So I had to leave Mother's Day. So I guess I'm gonna have to pay for that next year. But yeah.
Yeah, you just got to make up for it double.
When you have 4 kids, they can make up for it too. So, and you're married 34 years, so I didn't want to miss the 34th anniversary. I did want to get back. I said Mother's Day and missing the anniversary were going to be 2 bad things to miss, right? So I said, and my wife. And then, by the way, this trip wreaked havoc on my sleep schedule. I've actually improved my sleep habits over the past few years. It messed it up like to no degree. So. But you can check out the article on Cigar Coop, and it has a link to the Reinhardt show, which by the way, I learned so much on that show from my, just being there and then learning. I didn't do the show from the Middle East, Reinhardt did, but it kind of filled in some of the questions I had too. So very, very good show they did.
What was I going to say? Kevin asked a question. Kevin O'Connor. Not this Kevin. Coop, is alcohol available there?
Yes, and I would say yes, it was, and it was hard liquors there as well. It's a little, at least in the places I went to, it was, but it is a little more, I'd say, controlled there. So is what I'll say. So what I mean by that is, I don't think you're gonna. They really will tolerate if anyone gets slobbered there with the culture. So, but there is alcohol there, and it's not just wine, it's beers. There was hard liquor there.
Yeah, that's interesting because I know they're very alcohol is not a big thing in the religions
but you
and
gotta
the cultures.
remember, no, it's not, and I can't comment on Qatar, by the way. That one I can't comment on. because I was there so short. But Dubai, again, I think it has a lot to do with, again, this city's very much a melting pot city.
Yeah.
It's probably the most melting pot city next to, I'd put New York and London probably right in the same category as that. London's very much a melting pot, too. Yeah.
Very interesting.
And a few other cities, but I would put it right in that category as well. It's funny, I wanted to get a picture of the tower, right? Because they have the tallest building in the world, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't get close enough to get the picture right. So in the article, I asked my son to help me find a picture. He's like, "Well, just do an AI." He's like, "Do AI with it." So I did an AI of one, but I couldn't get
wow.
I couldn't the pictures I had. It was either too far back or I couldn't get the building in view, right? Because again, this wasn't a sightseeing trip for me. So I said I gotta get a picture of this building in there. It's like the AI pictures in there, so it came out decent. So
Yeah, I saw some of your photos. They were awesome. They and I know you're a well documenting traveler. Usually when you travel, there's hundreds of photos, so I was not surprised.
yeah, it wasn't. There was a lot less, but I had some, but yeah, there was a lot less because this was very much a business trip, and again, it was not a cigar trip or a personal trip. So I didn't have as much time as and I normally would have stayed. Like I said, I wasn't at liberty to do that here, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, it's always fun to follow your travels because you make an experience.
Let me make one more.
Go
Let
ahead.
me make one more point. A lot of women smokers there of cigars that I saw.
In Dubai.
I should say
Really?
I saw many. There was, and this came up on the show with Reinhardt as well with the panel. They had a retailer from Dubai there, and he was confirming everything I saw with that. Yeah, yeah. So again, very engaging for women, and Reinhardt was there to promote Mirafel. So he was going through the Middle East. He was down in Oman. He was down in Qatar and Abu Dhabi in the UAE, as well as Dubai. We missed each other by Dubai by hours, by the way. That's how close we were on this trip, following. But yeah, he was there promoting Mirafel. So that's why he was there. And he's educating people. And they love cigar education there. They want to learn about cigars. So
It's interesting to hear about, other countries and what the cigar lifestyle is like. I mean, we know how it is here. I think, like you said, we're spoiled here, but we're also just. I think I think the cigar community, the cigar culture is bigger here. I think we have a lot more. I mean, first of all, our country is pretty big, and we have a big population, so I mean that helps. But yeah, I always find it interesting. We talk a lot about international stuff, with taxes and whatever. We kind of know about Canada and England and stuff like that, but you start to kind of get out there to these other countries, and it's kind of cool to hear about what it's like elsewhere. What do and what they have, what brands are there. Because once you step foot out of the United States, it's like you just get hit in the face with oh, Cuba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the world once you leave the United States. It's Cuba.
For cohibas. Yeah, $1,200 for a box of cohibas. I was like, nah, no. I'm like, I didn't see the Fuente Dubai cigars, but again, I wasn't really
They're
going to a lot
probably
of shops
limited,
or anything.
too.
Like this. Yeah, I didn't expect I was going to see them, but again, most of the ones I was seeing were at hotel kiosks or restaurant kiosks.
Right.
Like I said, we did do some smoking at night there. By the way, Kevin, Vegas is cool compared to Dubai. They have a lot more.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, we hit 109, and the humidity I want to say was between 20 and 40%, which is when you're 109, you feel that humidity a lot more. So. Even though I don't believe in the heat index, by the way. I think the heat index is total bullshit. The heat index is bullshit, but temperature is real. So I'm just going to say that.
Dude, I can only imagine.
Heat index and wind feel are fake. I've said that it's a fake thing, but
heat index in Dubai
because your body
is
doesn't
the surface
change.
of the sun.
When you get to Qatar, flat and sand. At the airport. Flat sand and oil fields. The airport's right near all that. So Qatar, you get out there and you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to the Middle East. I don't know if I would want to go right now. I don't know how that sounds to some
I
people,
mean,
but
Dubai is a place I would
Well,
like to see at some point.
well,
I just don't
Matt,
know if
we
I
had to
could.
go.
I mean, because I understand it's expensive, like Monte Carlo, kind of expensive. So I don't know if it's a
It's
place I
that
could even
kind of.
ever afford to go.
By the way, Kevin, that's a great analogy because I have been to Monte Carlo, and that is probably the analogous place I would put that. Because I stayed, it was so expensive. I actually stayed over about an hour away in Genoa because to
Wow.
go visit Monte Carlo. It was just too. This is going back to the '90s now. So yeah, it was. That's where I would put that at the same level in that maybe that category. It's that type of expensive there. So
Wow.
yeah, it's expensive. But it was also my first time I was ever in Asia, so I got to check a box, which was cool.
oh, really? That was your
Very
first
cool.
time?
Yeah, I checked the continent box, so I've been to 3 continents of
I
this,
feel
of
like
the
I don't know
7,
why
so.
I figured you had already been to Asia by now.
No.
Really? I don't know why I thought you've already
I
been. That's interesting.
The continent checkbox. Yeah, that's where I've been fortunate. I've been all over the world.
it's yeah. I mean,
Australia
I
is still
think
a
I've been to like
bucket
25.
list.
Yeah, I want to go see Dave in Australia. That's kind of the goal at some point. Dave Burke, who's on my team, I would really want to go see him. And I almost made that happen with a work trip in 2018, but it didn't happen. So, but I was going to go to Perth in Australia. And I don't know if you know where Perth is. Most of the cities in Australia are on the east, and Perth is on the west. And it's the distance between
Is it
Perth and
southwest?
Sydney is like from New York. Southwest, yeah.
Yeah.
But the difference between Perth and Sydney is like the distance between Los Angeles and like Jacksonville or something like that. Yeah, you're going across a pretty big area to get there. So yeah, it's like 3,000 miles away almost.
Australia's big.
It's big. Yeah.
Australia.
I would
In
love
fact,
to.
Dave.
I would love to see Australia.
Yeah, I would too. Dave lives in Brisbane, which is north of Sydney, but that's a plane ride. I mean, that's probably like going from Miami to DC. It's a long trip.
Wow. Yeah,
That's
Australia
long.
is absolutely freaking huge. I mean, there's definitely a lot of square miles of real estate in that country.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other place I really want to go is South America. I think that's a place I definitely want to hit before I kind of, end my time in this world. So I really want to go to Argentina. That's the where
Interesting.
I want to go. Yeah, I want to go to Buenos Aires and I want to go into the Patagonia. So, and I want to go to Antarctica. I know that sounds crazy. It's very expensive. We looked into it. It was too expensive to go to Antarctica.
The furthest I've ever been is South Africa.
You've been down
That's
there?
far.
Johannesburg.
Wow.
I was in
I think that's
Johannesburg. I actually opened a pet store in Johannesburg.
Really?
For a previous employer years ago. That was literally physically the longest time I've ever sat on an airplane ever in my life.
How long did that trip take?
Well, we had to fly to Charles de Gaulle, and then from Charles de Gaulle, you went Charles de Gaulle nonstop to Johannesburg, and that was like 18 hours. So, what is that?
That's longer than why I
18,
went.
and
Yeah.
then it was from Vegas to Charles de Gaulle was 14 hours. So what is that? 32 hours on an airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Dubai was about 18 hours on the airplane, but actually about 16. But there's stopovers I had and stuff. And actually, I had no overnight layover in Doha. So,
Coop, for us on the East Coast to fly to Australia, what would that take?
well, I think you can do it like New
Me
York
probably
to LA.
longer than you because I'm even more north.
Yeah, I may have to go 2 stops to get there, unless I get a direct flight to LA. Actually, I can't get a direct flight to LA. So it's usually you could go through LA, and then you can go to Australia. Now, when Dave flew into the States a couple years ago, his family's up in Minneapolis and Milwaukee. And he flew into Minneapolis, and he flew from Australia to Dallas.
Hmm.
And that was a long trip. Then he flew from Dallas to to Minneapolis. I was like
Oof.
crazy to do 2 stopovers on this trip, but it was a matter of getting partner points, and that was the only way I could get partner points out of Charlotte. There was no, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to take a trip this long ever. This is the most points I'm going to get, so that's why I did it. Funny thing, Matt, I didn't tell you this.
Yeah.
I flew back through Boston actually. I had a change. There was a change in flight.
You flew through Logan?
But I was there an hour.
No,
and
I know.
I was literally running through the airport to get my connection to Charlotte. Yeah.
I knew that if you
was
was like actually here, you would have called me. So don't worry.
No, I would have. It was so. What happened is I flew from Dubai to Qatar back. Connection gets missed. And I tell you what, Qatar Airlines. I normally don't talk a lot about airlines, but they were fantastic. Personal service, just getting you, making sure you got on your flight, making sure everything's okay. You know, things can go wrong, but you know when you do things and give that level of customer service to a large flight, by the way, greatly appreciated. So, yep.
Yeah,
I didn't stay overnight in Doha coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I often hear stories about international travel and like international airlines.
Yeah.
You know, Nicole spent most of her childhood living in the United Kingdom, as some people know. So she did a lot of going back and forth between her mom and her dad. And we've talked about it, like, you know, flying on Virgin. She's flown on, you know, Aer Lingus. Oh yeah, she loves Virgin. She's like, dude, back in the day, like every time you got on a Virgin flight, they gave you like a goodie bag with like a bunch of shit in it. And I was like, what?
Actually, the seats had room. We flew Virgin too. Our first trip to the UK, they were great. Then we flew I flew British Airways, and then SAS Scandinavian is. I can't say enough about them as well.
Yeah, and it's funny because like we talk about it, and we talk about like the experiences that she's had, like flying on these airlines, and I've talked to other people. And then you look at like all the U.S. domestic flights, and they're just fucking trash compared to some of these international flights. Like, just like the customer, not even just like the experience on the plane, like that for sure, but like the customer service, like the way they operate, is just like they're trash. And I hear all these stories about these international, like, and they're like, oh my god, it's like this, is like, and I'm like, this is the way air travel should be. And then it's like you take an American Airlines flight, and like this, I just want to kill myself. Like,
I mean, even the domestic airlines that serve international destinations, it's different than flying in the U.S. I mean, when I flew to Taiwan, I was in American Airlines, and I mean, I had like one of like the first class like pods, so to speak.
I had one of those.
You know,
I bought that.
It had a reclining thing and turned into a bed, and I mean, it was crazy. How cool that was.
I had that going to Qatar, but I paid for that on my own. My company didn't pay for it. But given that longer flight, and it was again, that was another reason why I did the 2 stopovers. Yeah, because I was able to pull one leg off with that, and it was great. I think I put a picture up of the food, and I was like, this food was actually for airline food, like really good. Like,
and
I never take airline pictures. You know me, I never take airline pictures. Yeah.
Alan asked how much that flight was. Was it over 2,000?
I'll be honest. It was about that. But again, I only had to pay the Delta on that. It was over that. But yeah, I had to pay the Delta. It wasn't cheap. And in fact, because the trip happened on short notice, but I just was really concerned about leg room for that long. Yeah, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't something I can afford to do on every leg and coming back. So I picked one leg to do it. So. Because if I picked every leg, it would have been closer to double that. But yeah, my company's only going, you know, they're pretty standard on that. Everyone flies the same level going out with your company, so
true.
You know, and they're expensive.
Fair.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have to be fair with that. Yeah, so you know, but you had, like I said, I had the options to do that, so I did that to buy it on my own.
So, not to change gears too much here, but you know, I'm just looking at the time and looking at what's going on. I wanted to make sure that we covered everything because there hasn't been that much to cover. And I'm drawing a blank here on my end. But Coop, was there anything else, even just rumor wise? Have you heard any juicy rumors lately in the cigar industry?
Nah.
Some of your hidden sources.
No, I haven't really heard anything juicy. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I don't do rumors, but there's nothing to really do on that. So there was nothing I'd say really. We talked about the big stories, I think, on the last show, uh,
Yeah.
which came out. So that was. Did we talk about the Tobacco Products Association at all? I
Oh
don't think we
no,
talked about
no,
taking.
we did not.
Yeah,
No, we
that's
did
the
not.
one that came out. I don't think it's a big story, but it's an interesting story. You know, there's a new association that formed, so
Yeah,
TPA.
you and I talked about it privately, but we haven't talked about it on the air. So I'm not as familiar with it.
Uh-huh.
Um, I know you've looked into it a little bit more than me, but I mean I
Yeah.
know enough to know like what's going on. But yeah, another organization has been formed. Imagine that. How many fucking organizations does a small little industry need?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a lot, but these guys formed it with the purpose of trying to make pipes more inclusive, which you could absolutely make an argument that the pipe industry has been put a little bit on the side by a lot of the different groups. Um, so it's a very small group. It's a very boutique group. I'm not gonna kid you. They're looking to promote the industry through education, advocacy, and collaboration. They are going to be inclusive of pipes, and they have five members on the board. They have a guy named Ishmael Alivan from BMF Cigars, Ronnie Pecorini, who many people know is in the media. He's from the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, but he also runs the Chicagoland Pipe Show, which is a trade show out in Chicago. Oscar Rodriguez, who I do know from GTO Cigars, good guy. Foad from Hiram and Solomon's a part of it, and Ken Dorbecker from KGD, which is the Chief Cigars. Some of these guys were BCA members. I'll just say that. I don't know if they're still BCA members or not, but you could take that however it is. They said they're not trying to compete with the BCA, but you got to wonder, why didn't they try to? Did they try to work with them? They're not. They're just taking the high road, saying we're doing our own thing here. Is what they said.
Yeah, interesting. It's the BCA's been around for a few years now, and I know Gabby Caffey has been a huge proponent of that. Um, and they're a smaller
But
group. They're a smaller group for smaller companies. Now we have another group,
yeah,
and we
and
already have
and look,
like three big major ones, and then you get the TAA, and then you got
that's not. I don't consider them a trade organization. I consider them a buying
no, but I
organization.
mean
But
it's
yeah,
still a big
yeah,
group. You know what I mean? So you got the
yeah.
PCA, the CRA, the CAA, the TAA, the BCA. Now you get like how many fucking groups? Like you know what I mean? It's not that
Um,
big of an industry.
well, again, the three that matter, and I'm not saying these guys don't matter, but the three that really have the legs here are CRA, CAA, and PCA. They're
That's
still
true.
look
Yeah.
BCA. Yeah, I mean, so BCA. I wouldn't even put them in the same sentence, and that's not meant to be disparaging or anything. And I think BCA really went through a lot of growing pains. They took a while to kind of get themselves going. The one thing that I get concerned with, and this is not meant to bash anybody, okay? But I think when you form an organization, right, you can't be a social club and you can't be a trade association. You can't do both. You can't cross swords. It's because ultimately it's going to be a problem. I saw it with the BCA. I'm a little concerned TPA may be going down the same route, and I hope I think they should just pick one path or the other, in my opinion, because reason why I say that is a trade association often has to be the bad cop sometimes. And if you're trying to be friends and social with everyone in the group, then you have to make decisions that sometimes may not be the popular ones, but necessary ones. You're crossing swords, and I think I always thought that's where the BCA got in a lot of trouble in the past. So, I that's the one thing I just you notice PCA they don't get me. They come on our shows and everything, but they're not like warm and fuzzy. They're not trying to be warm and fuzzy with us, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to form like social herfs or anything like that. Those are the things I think you need to stay away from.
I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna
it's just
present yourself as
it's
an
yeah,
organization like that, that's not what it is.
yeah,
It's about business and the protection of business rights, whatever.
right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not for not having fun, but you have to kind of pick an avenue and stick with it.
You have to. You have to. It's important. I mean, I think BCA also had communication problems early on. I think they've fixed a lot of things with the BCA. I'll say that. I have not. I know you guys went to them at the trade show this year. Okay, we did not go, and it's not because we were trying to ignore the BCA. We just, again, it's the companies. We talked about that. I'm not going to go to how we have to kind of choose where we go. And we have a lot of people who we have deep relationships with. But I mean, what did you guys think this year of the pavilion? If you guys were there, I don't know if you guys specifically were there, but I know Smokin Tabacco covered BCA.
I briefly went there. I only went there to talk with Gabby Caffey because he had asked to speak with me, and I went over there and
Right.
just my schedule was a little bit different than the rest of the groups for a lot of reasons, but so I didn't really have a lot of time booked for over there, but I did stop in. I know Nicole and Barbara spent a little bit of time over there. Kevin, I don't know if you ever wandered over there at all during the whole show. Even just
I wandered
passed
over there
through.
towards the end of it, but it was pretty much too late. Most of it was already packed up by the time that I got a chance to get over there. But like you said, I know Nicole and Barbara spent quite a bit of time over there.
Now, I know you said you kind of went there towards the end, but like, do you mean like the end of the show, like, or?
Yeah, the end and like the last couple hours of the show.
Okay, well, because I was gonna say, I mean, from the little bit I saw and the little bit I heard from Nicole, there was at least a couple of booths who they didn't look like they wanted to be there, and there was some people that maybe or didn't seem like they were being serious. I don't know. I'd have to follow up with Nicole again, but it sounded like there was a couple of people there who were just kind of like, meh. I mean, Gaffey was there, was doing great. There was some other people there that, they were doing great. They had a great presentation or whatever. Then there was some people that just kind of just didn't seem like they wanted to be there or didn't really like, have a good effort, I guess, with their presentation at the show. I can't give you names because I just don't know. It was kind of just a comment that was made in passing, so I don't know who specifically, or else I would tell you. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not shy. I'll give you the names. I don't know the names, but I know there was a few people over there who were just kind of like, meh, potting around, like, whatever, I'm fucking here. That was what I heard from the BCA Pavilion. Coop, I don't know if you heard that or...
No, I did hear a couple of grumblings. I don't want to say who it was.
Sure.
And the grumblings were over traffic. Well, not over traffic. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say over location. They didn't like the location this year.
Okay.
And I think they did have a bad location. And in fairness, I think they had a terrible location this year. So I'm sure because they had a much better location the year before. So again, maybe they may not have been a lot of options made available for the BCA here. So but the problem I've had and the reason why most of the companies in the BCA, the things I got were, hey, come to my booth. It wasn't like, hey, this is what we have at our booth. I mean, so that was most of the problem I had there. So when I don't know, there's a lot of other companies that are more, I don't want to say, there's companies that we have relationships with. That's something we have to go to the booth to learn about what they have. I just, there's only so many hours in the day. So that was a, we just finished our
something
coverage.
is done to generate traffic in that section. There's a lot of potential there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the year before, they were in a great location at BCA. They were next to Altadis, and they were next to the PCA pavilion, the PCA area. They could have had a better location the year before. So they were off behind the McAuliffe booth this year, which was over by the edge, which was not a great location. I mean, I got to be honest with it. Some companies can make it work, but it's harder. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to make another quick reminder to everyone who's tuning into the show.
Yep.
Because we're actually getting towards the end of the show, to be honest with you. I don't have too much more on the docket, so I'm going to give you guys like the 5 to 10 minute warning here. If you're just tuning in, we have talked about our 2024 Cigar Family Charitable Foundation fundraiser, and we're doing a special tonight. And if you donate during the show, $20 or more, to the link that I will post again in the comments. So it's at the bottom. I don't know why I have to do this again. It won't pin for some reason. $20 or more. We're gonna pick 3 people, and I might even do it after the show just to make it easier. I was trying to put like a selection wheel here with the few people who have donated, and it's too much while I'm doing it. I might have to do this after, but we'll pick 3 people. We'll let you know, and each one of us is gonna send one of those people some cigars and some swag. And you'll also get entered in to win some of the raffle items that are in the actual fundraiser. But all the money is for a great cause. It's for the Cigar Family Charitable Foundation. If you don't know about it, you can head over to the raffle page site, and there's a full description. The Fuente Newman families put this together years ago to help kids in the Banao region in the Dominican Republic, and they pay all the administrative costs. So all of this money goes directly to the kids. It has changed not only the kids' lives, their families' lives, the entire community. Like as I said before, Coop and I have been there. We've been to the school. We've met the kids in the Dominican Republic. It's a fantastic charity. It's a great cause, and every dollar we can raise goes such a long way. So we appreciate all the people who have donated. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has donated some of their money to this amazing cause. But you have a few minutes. It's only during the live show, so if you head over to the link that I just posted again, at least on the Facebook, I think on the other feeds it's still there, but on the Facebook it keeps getting lost. Head over there, donate $20 or more, and 3 of those people will be selected for a little mini gift from each of us. But you're also entered in to win some of the regular prizes. We also have more prizes coming from Arturo Fuente that should be announced early next week is what I'm hoping. I'm really pushing hard to get that up there as fast as possible. That's and it's also been extended until June 12th. So it's my quick little reminder, my last announcement on it. Head over there now, because once we end the show, that's it. It's locked, stone cold locked. And once again, thank you very much to everyone who donated. I want to say, getting back to the Business of the Spare Notes series show, this has been a show that has been great for like all the extra fodder that's out in the industry. And I'll be honest with you, the show's not going to go anywhere. But man, the last couple of shows, we've only had a few things to really get into. This is, I want to stage a question to each one of you. And Coop, I'm especially interested to hear what you have to say, because I know that you're very particular with your answers. Would you say, at least, and especially in your experience, because you've been kind of doing this longer than both of me and Kevin, would you say that currently, in the last couple of months, this has been the slowest the business has been in a long time? It seems that way. I mean,
this is definitely. It's definitely, I would say, looking at from like April and May, we're very slow. We normally have our I always monitor the traffic, and we had down months in April and May. There's no question we had down months. Even with our PCA coverage, there's usually when we do PCA coverage in the summer, there's other stories that we can supplement that with in reviews. It was a little down this year, but our February and March were much higher this year than normal. So because they were very active months, so it kind of balanced out in the end where the numbers are. For the year. I just want to get higher year over year, which I think we'll have no problem getting. But it absolutely has. Been slow. It's not been slow in the industry. Here's what I'm saying. There's been a ton of events going on in the last. I mean, the tablecloths have been overused at these events. That's what I kind of joke about. So a lot of people are using the time to hit the road right now, is what I'm noticing. And there's a lot of people out on the road right now. So that's a little different. Usually I see that road push in September and October is when I see it. But we saw the road push happen, and that's, right after the trade show where I think people, it was a good time for them to hit the road. So, and I think a lot of them hit the road so they could take time off in the summer too. So I think there's a lot going on. But there's been a lot of big events. There's been a lot of local events, probably more than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've probably April was a very busy, and May were busy event months for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's there's going to be more events coming too that will kind of continue that. As we look down the rest of the year, you still got Rocky Mountain, you still got New England Cigar Expo. You talk about like some of the bigger ones. I know there's several cigar weeks coming up across the country. I think Atlanta Cigar Week September.
We just had Charlotte last month. So
Charlotte was last month. So there's some of those too. So you're right. There's a lot of events and stuff, especially a lot of consumer-based stuff, which is good. But we've been talking about this first quarter, for the last year or so, with the trade show. It's the busiest time of the year. TAA is now moved to the fall, just to kind of get out of all that mess. But yeah, you got all the festivals are over. Both the trade shows are over.
Good point.
Great Smoke is over.
Take up a lot of people in October. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the biggest events, whether they're industry or public, they're done. We're already done.
Yeah.
It's June 1st.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
It is.
So with the trade show moving, maybe next year are we going to start to maybe see some events trickle in over the summertime that haven't normally been there because of the trade show?
Yeah, I think so. The trade show's a little later next year too, so I think that's going to be a little different. We were talking about this early in the show. It was a continuous cycle from Cigar of the Year to awards season to Pro Cigar. TP was in there, right? And then PCA, leading up to the PCA, then PCA recap. All continuous this year. Normally that's been like I said, normally it's been pushed out some of that stuff to the second half of the year. A lot, yeah, definitely. I think next year you'll see more things trickle into the summer for sure. And I bet you see all the retailers have big 4th of July weekends because they wanted this. They wanted this trade.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see some big sales events, whatever other events.
You bet. Yeah, I want to see. Okay, but I'm putting this more on the retailer. I want to see. Yeah, I want to see, man. I want to see something. I'm going to be very closely paying. I want to just kind of not to pick. I'm kind of curious to see how it will go and I do know that some retailers, they do a lot of prep work, like some of the larger ones, or even some of the media side. I know Jay Davis does a lot of prep work leading into the trade show, like on buying and stuff. So, and I know that takes time. So this, hopefully, they can not have to worry about that this year going into 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, it's true, and it's funny. You mentioned Jay Davis, and I haven't seen Jay Davis here at all tonight. What happened to Jay?
I'm sure he may have something going on. I think I saw him out with his grandkid or something, or his daughter or something today, or something like that.
Ah, okay.
So
I miss seeing Jay.
He's
always got so
I'm pretty sure I saw something with that today. So yeah, I did speak to Jay on Thursday. So I did speak to Jay on Thursday.
I haven't talked to Jay in a bit. I need to give him a call.
I spoke to him on Thursday. Yeah,
I will say our good friend Alec Rubin from Alec Bradley Cigars texted and said to tell you guys hi.
Tell him congratulations, man. Tell Rubens congratulations. The Panthers made the Stanley Cup Finals again.
I just saw that.
Of course.
And by the way, I had the game on in the background here. They look much better than the team that went down to your team last year. This is a championship caliber team. They could win this thing. I mean, they made. I'll tell you, this Ranger game was 2-1. The Rangers lost 2-1. It wasn't that close on the ice. I can just tell you that right now. Florida, could have probably pounded them. Maybe it was all night for Florida, but yeah.
They're my backup team to the Knights, so.
The problem is if Edmonton makes it, I love Edmonton, but I always like to root for Miami. So Edmonton's always been my other team I've loved. So. I love my Oilers going back to Gretzky, and Messier. So, love my Oilers. So they've always been the team I want to see them. I want to see them in the finals. It'll be a great final, both those teams. NHL's got to be crapping bricks right now. Not in the Rangers in there. So,
I will say this, and I know Mitchell's watching. I'm sorry, Mitchell. I love you, but. If the Oilers do make it to the finals, then Florida better win because We need to keep that non-Canadian Cup winning streak going because
No, we gotta bring him back. Mitchell's Canucks were very good this year. They deserve a lot of credit. Look, Matt Tocchet was the coach of the year for a reason. That Vancouver team, they're gonna be good for a few years.
hello, sir.
Oh, there's Alec.
There he is.
Congratulations to the Florida Panthers there.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be a very different team in the finals this year.
I feel like they're better than either one of the other two. Not that the other two teams are not good, but I feel like Florida's probably
Edmonton
better than
doesn't have
either one of
goaltending.
those.
Edmonton does not have the goaltending to go against Florida's goaltending. And Florida plays a very physical game on top of that. And they're going to come out of that Dallas series worn out. And Florida's going to be ready for them. So.
Yep. Bring
Yeah.
it.
Very good. This is a.
It's going to be a good
This team
final.
will be very good. Yeah. It's going to be a good final, but yeah, Florida is going to be much not like last year. Yeah, it's going to be very different this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little sucky for me because they beat Boston, but then again, I got the Celtics in the finals, and I like my odds, so I really can't complain too much. So
You know what's funny? You look at Dallas. If I don't know if the Stars are going to make it or not, but Dallas has kind of been the city of champions this year. Outside the Cowboys, of all things, they had the Rangers, right? You have the Mavericks in the final.
Mhm.
By the way, that Mavericks team is better than people think. I don't think they'll beat Boston, but they're better than people think.
Mhm.
And the Stars, still have a shot to win this. They're not out of it yet. They're in trouble, but they've gotten to the conference final, so they may be the city of champions this year.
except for the
And the
Dallas
Cowboys,
Cowboys,
you haven't
once
been to
again.
the Cowboys are.
Wah.
You know what? They made
Yeah,
the
the problem
playoffs
with the
this year.
Cowboys is the Cowboys. So
Yeah, it's Cowboys.
we're
They
probably
gotta
going
be,
to
Jerry
get
Jones
hate
got to
mail
be
now.
saying what? He should be looking in the mirror. Every other team is making a championship run, but you. So
The Cowboys are going to do the same thing that they do every year. They're going to
Loose.
you guys know the graphic that gets shared on Facebook every season, right? It's like, new season, beat up on bad teams. We dem boys, this is our year. Choking the playoffs.
we then.
It just keeps going around.
My oldest, the last time they won, my oldest son Timothy was a month old. He's now 28. So.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing Roger
almost as old as
Staubach
Matt.
play. That was the last time that I thought the Cowboys were any good. So
I as much as I always hated Cowboys, I always was a Danny White guy because he would play quarterback and punt. So he was like so I always loved Danny White. Even though I hated the Cowboys, I always loved Danny White.
I mean, eventually I think they will win, but it's just fun, to just keep hating on
Well,
them.
but there's a window, and there's a point where if you don't win in that window, you're not gonna win.
You
Right?
gotta rebuild all over again, and yeah.
Look at Buffalo. Look at Buffalo right now. They went
Dude,
through a
their time's
period where
running out.
Their time's running out, right? So that happened with them, for sure. It can happen. Is what I'm saying. I remember those Denver teams in the '80s were like that. They just couldn't. Yeah, they were good, but they, in the regular season, but playoffs they couldn't. They couldn't get done in the Super Bowls. Yeah.
Right now, Kansas City's the team to beat. They're the team with the dynasty right now. Patriots are rebuilding. Cowboys, well, we already know what's going on there. I'd be curious, and take this as you will. I'm curious how, as long as Rodgers stays healthy, I'm very curious how the Jets will do with Rodgers at the helm. I don't really have any I don't have any expectations either way. Let me preface that. I don't have any expectations one way or the other. I'm just so curious to see what happens because we still haven't gotten to see it. He took 3 snaps and he broke his ankle. I mean, or whatever he did. Like we have not.
He's old.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying we haven't seen. We still haven't seen the Rodgers Jets thing. So I'm so curious to see what happens there because it's like the saga right now.
I thought they drafted well this year, and we'll see. I think their coach is terrible, but I think Rodgers is really going to run that team. So
It sounds to me like that's kind of what the deal is. I read something the other day that's like Rodgers is in like every meeting, like right next to what's his name, the fucking coach,
Robert
why am I-
Saleh.
yeah, Saleh.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I heard that he's like right next to him, and like every meeting he's like something I read, like he's kind of like calling. I'm like, this dude's been like with the team for like 2 seasons, and he didn't even play last year. And I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of faith in him. They think he's gonna be
Give him credit. He was traveling with the team last year.
Yeah, no, I know.
He didn't go home and sit home and watch TV like some guys. He was there.
Yeah,
So
he was there.
I give him. I want him to do well.
I like Aaron Rodgers.
And-
I do. I want him to do. I always liked him. People who talk shit
wanted him
about him and Matt LaFleur. No names mentioned, but I always liked Rodgers.
He wasn't going to win with Matt LaFleur. If he loved Matt LaFleur so much, he would have stayed there.
I know.
That's why I'm being honest here. And the money, of course, right? The money.
Well, here's the other thing
money
too. I
was
mean,
probably-
he was he was the face of Green Bay. I mean, he was a franchise player. So I guess to your point, I'll scratch your back a little bit and rub your shoulders. To lose a franchise quarterback in Green Bay after all that, yeah, he must have felt like, listen, LaFleur just ain't going to be the guy, and I'd rather not be a franchise player and go play somewhere else than keep trying to win with this guy, because he must have knew I'm never going to win with him. And you know something? It's not the same as like what Brady went through with Belichick. Brady knew he could win with Belichick. He just wasn't being appreciated. So he's like, go pound sand, guy. I can go win somewhere else.
You have to. This is I always bash Matt LaFleur, but the one that never bashed him, and I think he has developed Jordan Love. I just think his
Sure.
X's and O's in games are the problem. Okay, his game management is atrocious, and that's where it really. But there's no doubt you can't say he didn't contribute to some of Rodgers' success. I'm sure there was some tutelage there, and he has developed Jordan Love. You have to give him that, but they will not win with his X's and O's. That's just my opinion.
Right.
And I think you can say it's overrated or not, but he's made some bad decisions in big games, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, I know. We've heard from
You
you.
and I've talked about it, but you've even acknowledged some of them.
I have. It's just always fun to give you a hard time. But yes,
So-
to your point, there has been
By the way-
times where it's like, all right, well, that's 3
Yeah.
years in a row.
So-
Come on.
So let's just get this off the table right now because I know you're going to go there next. You know what Gabe Kapler is right now, right?
No one was even thinking about Gabe Kapler. Like, it's just
No,
like
you
is
were.
it-
You were gonna do
No, I wasn't. I swear that Gabe Kapler.
wasn't
Here
gonna
we
say
are
anything
again. You're just
about
like
Gabe
ready to
Kapler.
go, like
No,
with Gabe Kapler.
Because Matt LaFleur always comes up with Gabe Kapler. So let's just get this off the table right now. Gabe Kapler went to the Florida Marlins, right? Excuse me, the Miami Marlins. The Miami
Here we
Marlins,
are.
right? Have you
Here
seen
we
where they
go.
are right now?
No, where
Have
are
you seen
they?
where they are?
I know you're gonna tell
They're
us.
Yeah, have you seen the record they've had this year? They're in last place in their division, 20 games out. Okay, behind the Phillies.
Wait. Before you
They have
say
the
another
worst
word.
record in the NL.
Wait. Before you say another word, are you building up to say that this is all Gabe Kapler's fault? Oh, this is his fault.
No, probably is.
Yeah, he wanted to. He wanted to. He's like, oh, wait a minute.
It was on the tip of his tongue.
He's like, oh, wait a minute. I can't say yes.
I think, and I'm gonna be totally honest. I think ownership dropped the ball with that team. Okay, I'm gonna be, but I
Sure.
had to get that in there. Yeah, 20 games out behind the Phillies. They are. They were like last year. They played the Phillies last year. So in the playoffs.
Hey, we almost got through a spare notes without mentioning Gabe Kapler.
So close. I
No,
know.
Matt was gonna bring it up, Cameron. That's why.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even. He wasn't even
Yes,
on my
yeah.
mind. I'm like not even thinking about him. Not even like. You just love to talk about him. You're obsessed.
Yeah.
With, I think remember when we were kids, and like the boys would pick on the girls or whatever, and they'd say, "Well, it's because the boys like the girls." Well, I think that Coop just bashes Kapler so much because he just loves him so much, and he's afraid to admit
I
it
will
because he's
never
like,
forget-
"Why can't you win so I can be like, yeah, I love you."
No, I will never forgive him for the 2018 Phillies season. That team, the Phillies, were good. That was a good Phillies team that year, and he blew it after the All-Star break. Like I never saw anyone blow a season.
Well, first of all,
And
you weren't going to beat us in the World Series even if you made it. So
we weren't. No, we weren't.
don't
But
hate
Matt,
on him too much. He wouldn't have
Matt,
beaten us.
we were a playoff team that year.
Yeah, no,
we
you
could have
were.
been a playoff team that year. We should have been a playoff team that year. And to collapse and have guys playing Fortnite in the locker room, it's just getting beaten 20 runs by the Mets and something, and just saying how it was great for baseball to see pitchers, position players pitching. I mean, I had to hear that nonsense. Not having guys warmed up in the bullpen. It was, just bad decisions on base running, and so it was a bad. That 2008 was the worst season as a manager I ever saw the Phillies have.
I love that season. That was a great season.
That was a great season for you guys, and you guys had a great team that year.
Well, we won the World Series.
Look, the Boston's very much in the playoff picture right now. The problem is, they have to. Well, here's why they are. It's not the problem. Minnesota's catchable this year, is what I'm saying. I think and I don't know what's gonna happen with Kansas City right now. So Kansas City's playing good, but I don't know if they'll continue to play that good. So Boston's very much in this right now, is what I'll say.
I mean, we're
And
10
Texas
games
is
behind.
probably gonna make a run.
We're 10 games behind the Yankees.
You're 2.5 out of the wild card is all you need to worry about. But Texas, I think is going to get hot in the second half.
Hey, Phillies have a
Houston's coming up.
7.5
Houston's
game
starting to make a
lead
little bit.
in the East. Yeah, Phillies are in first place.
Well, Suarez went out of the game tonight. He got hit by the ball on his pitching hand. That wasn't good. So
actually, the Phillies have the best record in the league.
Don't say anything more, okay? Look,
I'm just looking at the numbers on the paper. I'm just looking at the numbers.
They got a long road ahead.
Coop's like, don't jinx
Atlanta's
us.
not at it. No, I've already been jinxed, so
I'm not jinxing it. I'm just saying, as of right now, if you look at the numbers on the paper, it's just a fact. They have the best record in all of the league. And the only one closest to them would appear to be the Yankees by like one game maybe. And then after that, it's Cleveland. And then everyone else is still kind of like a few games behind.
The Yankees have been very watchable this year. They play like they want to win this year, which has been a big problem I've seen with the Yankees over the years. They play like they want to win this year. I think Soto has made a huge difference on that team. I think he's been an enormous addition to that team. They put, like I said, you put these Yankees games on last year, they were just like lethargic. It was the last few years, lethargic, unwatchable baseball.
Yeah.
But they've been a fun team to watch this year. I've watched quite a few games this year. So, because they're on all the time, so.
Well, I mean, I root for the Red Sox first, and as Coop knows, my second team, I think, has kind of become Philly. Mostly because of you, but I like watching them play.
Look, you've been very supportive of Phillies in the playoffs. You've been very supportive of them.
I have, and I'm not shy about it.
You've always been. It's kind of funny to see like fans of rivals, and I've seen this with some teams. Like I remember when the Flyers won the Cup final in 2010. The Ranger fans were backing us. It was really cool to kind of see that, right? A lot of Ranger fans were backing, like.
Well, weren't they playing us?
What?
They
played Chicago that year.
Oh, they played Chicago. Oh, I thought they played us.
They played Chicago. But we knocked you guys out. That was the 3-0 series that we came back in, which was a lot of luck we had. The puck really went the right way in a few things. But I'll never forget, Matt, when you guys lost in 13 to the Blackhawks. The sportsmanship, and people could crap on Boston all they want. Chicago won that cup in Boston, and the fans stayed, and the fans were congratulating them. And I think that said a lot. Like, people will crap on Eastern fans and teams. Just remember that series when the Boston fans gave Chicago, and that was a great series. That was a great cup final. And Boston fans showed such class in that I think people should remember that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll never root against the Bruins because of that. Yeah. They showed me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we can be a tough crowd, but at the end of the day, we're good people. We're not like New York fans. They're rude.
No. Look, New York fans are good too. I mean, when Ortiz came in, they were very respectful to him on the retirement tour. Boston fans respected Mariano when he came. And
Jeter.
And Boston supported New York. Yeah, Jeter. Boston supported New York a lot with 9/11 and stuff like that. There's a lot of things some don't, and I think it's great that they can fight on the field, but afterwards, it's a nice community thing to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Well, I'm looking at the time. We're 2 hours in. I kind of want to wrap up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna. I'm gonna do a random selector after the show.
Yep.
I had my hands full trying to do this live, so I'm gonna do it after when I actually can take a step back. I'm gonna pick 3 of the names that donated inside the window of the live show, which is gonna be pretty easy to figure out. They're all right here. We did get some more in. We're up to 18,840. So.
There was a nice amount of
guys.
money donated tonight. By the way, thank you to everybody. There was some nice, I want to say
thank
it was over $300 donated.
It was one,
Yeah, I
two,
think 3, maybe close to 4.
Yeah, I think it's almost 4. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a very nice job. Nice job, by everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So don't forget the links in the comments. I'll post it one more time really quick as I'm closing up the show so you can get it in there. Here's the link. Sorry. I don't know why it doesn't save it in my clipboard for more than like 10 minutes. But yeah, that's going to be our show for tonight. Here's the link one more time in the Facebook comments. Thank you to everyone who watched the show and listened to the show, obviously. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who donated tonight. Appreciate it. We'll reach out to the people that get picked after the show. Head over to smokingtabacco.com for more news, reviews, and cigar updates. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you can find us on social media, as well as everywhere you get your podcasts. Head over to the Rally Up, regardless of what we did tonight. The main event is still good till June 12th, so don't forget to head over there and donate today and help us raise money for an amazing cause. We really appreciate it, and it goes such a long way. It means so much to us. So thank you to everybody who's been a part of it. You know, I can't say enough. So thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank
for what you guys do as well. Yeah. And Matt, by the way, I know you have a big show with Nicholas Perdomo on
We do.
Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, tune into that. That guy's it's going to be a great interview. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Nicholas Perdomo will be with us this coming Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So please don't miss that, because that's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
It's Nicholas's first time. Nick's been on a bunch of times, but this will be Nicholas's first time. It'd be great to get his perspective on so many things. And I think we'll be smoking the 30th. So
extraordinary. By the way, we both, I know, rated the Maduro very high on our site. So.
Yeah, we just put out a review that
High
Mitchell
score.
did. 93, and that's not a score that gets handed out very often at all.
I had 92, so I mean that's cigar to your territory. You're on my site, so you're right up there. Yeah,
I think
the
last time we had a score that high, I think Kevin gave it to our cigar of the year. I think you gave the closest was the 92 to that Davidoff Anniversary #1. I think was that you gave it like 92.
I think it was a 94.
I think so.
It was almost mid 90s. I remember Kevin gave that a very high score. That's the last time we had a score that high, and I think that's the only one that's like over 91 on the website right now. So just want to stress it's not just a toss of a score. I mean that was earned very hard.
It's
that was earned.
Cigar.
Yeah,
it's a great cigar. We have a couple of 92s that are in, a few other 92s that are definitely in it as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. You know, it's going to be right around the corner pretty soon. It's like 5 full months till the end of the cigar year for me. December. Excuse me, October 31st. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be here before we know it. So.
Yep.
But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the show tonight. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for donating. Links in the comments. Bunch of places. Donate now, and we'll see you on Wednesday night with Nicholas Perdomo. Take care.